Hi everyone, I am Adele and your co-host and founder of Find Your Inner Sparkle. I'm a dedicated yoga teacher and therapist and a spiritual coach. And I'm passionate about helping busy professional women to overcome their fears, unlock their true potential, and reignite the spark within.
And I'm Margaret, a true pioneer in the realm of women's health. As an anti-diet coach and acclaimed author, I'm really on a mission to empower women in their unique health journeys. My expertise isn't just about addressing hormonal health, but transforming lives by unlocking confidence, enhancing your communication, and boosting energy through cycle tracking and mindful nutrition.
Welcome back to this episode of Mind, Mood and Food with myself and the lovely Margaret.
Yes,
Today, we are going to be talking about something that sounds very intriguing, the dirty dozen
it will.
and the clean 15. Sounds like a gang of baddies and a gang of goodies, which I suppose it is. Um,
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. So I'm visualizing the Dirty Dozen with bandanas and masks on, and they've got like clubs in their hand. But
Oh my
Margaret
God.
is here to tell us more. We could become a cartoon. This could do a spin-off.
Oh my God, what film was that? I can't even think of it now. It's on the tip of my tongue. No, it's gone. It's a Western. I know what you're thinking of. But unfortunately, people, it ain't a Western.
Mm,
I'm literally talking about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, which is fruit and vegetables. This
mm,
list is released every year. As we're doing this podcast at the moment, it is just literally come into the new year of 2024. But I still have the list of 2023 because the 2024 list doesn't come out, to be honest with you, for I'd say another month or so yet.
So it'll be out when this goes out. This is going out in April.
Should be, yeah. So if people want to hit me
Getting
up for the
updated,
list,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Just
Who produces the list, Margaret?
there's actually a pesticides UK, pesticide use in UK, and the website itself is called pan-uk.org. I can put the address into the chat
Yeah.
when this actually goes out. That's no problem at all. But that website has got a plethora of information on there, which
Mm,
some of it I'm going to include into the actual podcast. But the main reason why I chose this subject today is that I am very much bringing into my practice all about hormonal health, which very much links to gut health. And the things that are used on our crops can
hmm
actually affect our hormonal health quite hugely. And I'll read through a few of the ones that are still used to this day because this is quite up-to-date information. But basically, what quite a lot of pesticides are endocrine disruptors,
Mm,
which basically means that they affect our endocrine system, which is our hormones.
hmm
And when it comes to, let's just say, women of a certain age,
hmm Won't tell you
this
what my cycle's doing at the minute, but I have no idea. Doing its own thing, that's for sure.
but this kind of toxic load can have a huge effect on our change in hormones,
hmm
literally because it's adding more toxicity to our system. And if it's adding more toxicity to the system, it's then going to have effect of changing the levels of hormones. So technically not actually brilliant, unfortunately, to
hmm
have when I've been looking into this, and I'll obviously go through the clean 15 of the Dota dozen. I've got a lovely little thing I can show. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can look forward to that. Um, But I'll give you, for instance, so quite a lot of potato crops in the UK are sprayed 22 times.
Wow.
And if you think about it that way, maybe there's just it's a change of thinking that you need to start bringing in, because obviously, yes, it will affect women of a certain age, but it can also affect ladies who are pregnant. It can definitely affect, if we're being affected, and definitely affect men within their 40s, but also teens as well, because obviously their hormones are changing, so it can affect us at different times of life. So it's definitely worth looking into understanding what is actually going on out there and how we can actually just make some subtle changes along the way. So I'll go into a few of the actual pesticides. This actual report is available through this website.
Mm-hmm.
So by all means, go to the website that I put in there, which is the website I mentioned just a few minutes ago, which is the PAN UK, and you can just download this specific report. Glyphosate is a herbicide, which is one of them. Yes, it has been approved, and it's approved till 2025. Now, this is a probable human carcinogen, and you might have heard a lot about carcinogens, but they can lead to disease in the body. It's harmful to bees and aquatic organisms as well.
Which, through the drainage system gets into that, doesn't it? Through the fields.
Yeah.
I
But it
know
has,
what levels these things are approved, like,
well,
it
it's
doesn't sound like we
approved.
should be using these things at all. I'm guessing there's a tolerance level of, oh, it's all right, it's just a little bit of carcinogen, like they must have a tolerance level.
They do actually have changes in UK use. They've got tables throughout this, which you can see. Now, this one is approved for use in a wide range of situations, including edible crops, grassland and pasture, and amenity use. But there has been a lot of talk about glyphosate in regards to it being a really, really high carcinogen. So that is definitely something to watch out for. There's another one called, I wish I'd give these blooming Asian names.
I know.
Cyanotranilprole. I've probably got that wrong. It's an insecticide, and 3 of those projects have been approved, and have been approved till 2029.
Wow.
Now, this one is highly toxic to bees, and it's been approved for use on things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, onions, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, quite a lot of different things. And it's a broad spectrum insecticide, and it's used to control a huge range of pests, whether it's whitefly, aphids. It's used for that. This one, I would say, ladies, look out for this one in particular, which is a herbicide, and all it is called is 224-D. This is what is suspected is an endocrine disruptor, and it's been approved for grassland, barley, also oats as well, and rye. And I would say, apart from fruit and veg, I would say oats are probably one of the most sprayed foods. And unfortunately, one of the most foods that are going to absorb those sprays as well.
Makes sense, yeah.
So that just gives you a bit of an insight on some of the actual herbicides and
And
pesticides.
obviously, if you choose organic, it's not allowed to be sprayed in any of this stuff.
There are, you can actually get away with some sprays, but not specifically the likes of glyphosate and things like that. Absolutely not, no. So I will bring up my lovely little dirty dozen and clean 15. Virtually every single year, you'll see strawberries at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Literally because, well, they are quite an absorbent fruit, shall we say.
Yeah.
They're a fruit that turns quickly, as in it kind of rots quickly. So they obviously want to give that a little bit more of a shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
So that is normally why that is right at the top, as well as the likes of spinach and things like that, because they do have quite a short
Yeah.
shelf life. So it kind of makes sense. But on the clean 15, avocados is normally quite near the top as well, because it's still a fruit, but it's got that hard case, and that
I was gonna say, yeah, I can see kind of
nothing's
why
going to
some
get
of
through
these
that
things,
sugar.
yeah, because my knife doesn't go through my avocados half the time because they're not ripe enough. So
But
you're
when you
protected, yeah, a little bit.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely,
no,
so
it's really useful because I was just saying before we started this, and I'll be honest with everyone. I don't
Mhm,
want everyone thinking, oh, look at them, all got everything perfect and doing everything by
absolutely.
the book because I don't currently buy organic, and it's like I don't do the grocery shopping most of the time, and obviously when you're cost conscious and you're trying to save that little bit of money, buying organic is more expensive. So this is really useful because if you are at least wanting to choose the things that are more likely, like those soft fruits that are going to absorb
Mhm,
the bad stuff,
yeah,
if you don't want to switch your whole shop to organic, this is really useful because you can just choose to swap a few
exactly,
things and start
exactly.
there.
And this is what I advise my clients to do.
Hmm.
Have a look at this list first and foremost, because there's little switches that you can make here and there. Strawberries, especially, because I know virtually every kid, that's their favorite. So if you can just,
Exactly. That's the thing. That was the other thing I was going to say. Also, it depends how often you eat things.
Mhm,
So if you're very rarely eating green beans, maybe you can get away with it because the level of toxins in your
mm,
body isn't going to be as high. But if you're like, I know my daughter loves strawberries. If you're eating strawberries every week, um, then yeah, maybe that's the
mhm,
first thing you switch.
yeah, absolutely. And this is mainly for awareness. As I say, things are hopefully going to be changing in a few years' time or something,
Well, as long
but
as some of those things you just read out there are
yeah,
approved till 2029, it doesn't sound like it,
exactly.
does it?
Exactly. So it's one of these things. Forewarned is
Hmm.
forearmed, because
And also the poor bees.
exactly. Yeah,
If we
the
can
poor
do a
bees.
little bit of shopping and voting with our
Mhm.
pennies.
And probably what I would say as well, Adele, be more aware of what is actually in season at the time.
Yeah. And again, that's
Because
hard, isn't it? When their
mm,
favourite thing, that's the thing. My daughter wants strawberries in her school bag all year round. But when they're not in season, they're like these little tiny things,
yeah,
or like they're, obviously they're imported and, choosing something that's a bit more in season if you can.
yeah. Specifically for this reason, quite a lot of things that are imported will mean that they're sprayed more often so they don't rot by the time that they get here,
Yeah,
and more than
and they
likely,
might have different guidelines in different
exactly,
countries. I guess they
exactly,
still have to pass through some UK guidelines to be brought in, but still.
yeah, exactly. So creating awareness today, I feel, by just, and as it say, I can, by all means, if you want to put your details below or get in contact with me through just through my email address, Margaret at nehhub.com. then I can happily send you this list and you can just put it on your fridge
Yeah.
door.
You're going to just read down there just in case people are listening and don't have the visual.
Yeah, absolutely. So your dirty dozen starts with your strawberries, spinach, kale, collard and mustard greens, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, either bell peppers and hot peppers, so like your chili peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans. So that all kind of makes a bit of sense
It
because they're
makes
all
sense
quite
now, yeah.
soft.
Even if you forget the list, I
Yeah.
think if you're in the supermarket looking at something and it's like, is it protected by a hard skin or a shell or like we're going to come on to the clean, but I can see cabbage, so it might not be protected by a hard skin, but it's got such a protective leafy layer that maybe
Yeah.
the inner leaves are a little bit cleaner. So yeah, just
Yeah.
you can think about what makes sense there, can't you?
Yeah. So your clean 15 avocados, sweet corn, pineapple,
Hmm.
onions, papaya, frozen peas, aubergine, asparagus, broccoli, cabbage, kiwi fruit, cauliflower, mushrooms, honeydew melon, and cantaloupe melon.
Hmm.
Kind of all make a bit of sense because they're either
Yeah, the only one
vastly layered.
maybe mushrooms, but I suppose they're not typically grown in your kind of farmer's field type thing.
Not normally.
Yeah,
You either normally find them wild or they
yeah,
are cultivated.
yeah.
So
But yeah, that's why that, because otherwise you think mushroom is typically like would go on the other list where it would be a very
yeah, because
absorbent,
it is,
unprotected.
yeah,
It
it
must
is
be
quite a porous.
it must be where and how it's grown.
Yeah, exactly, because
Because
it
they like they're fungi, aren't they? And in the dark and things like that, so they're probably not as prevalent to pests like your green fly and your white fly and things like that. So they don't need as
spot
much.
on. And the way, as I say, is the way they're cultivated. They're not from specifically a seed, they're actually cultivated from
Hmm.
mold.
Yeah,
So
moldy mushrooms.
it kind of makes sense that, they're not going to be within the dirty dozen list. Hopefully that gives people, a little bit of food for
Mm.
thought.
Yeah, bomb bomb.
One more. And just start to understand what endocrine disruptors are and what they can actually do in regards to our hormonal health.
Yeah, and like you say, we're here just to kind of raise a bit of awareness, to get people thinking about different things to do with their health and well-being on this podcast. Um, don't want to go into like loads of science and
Mm,
all the rest of it. But if people then are interested, then I'm sure they can go and research, like you say, the different pesticides, the effect on the environment, on bees, organic versus non-organic, and all the rest
yeah,
of it, and
absolutely.
make your own choices. But if you're going to do one thing, maybe swap those strawberries out.
Mhm.
That's what I'm going to do.
Fab. Yay, result.
Yeah, brilliant. That is useful. Thank you very much,
No
Margaret, for
problem.
that.
As I say, if you want to hear more about this, do get in contact with me and do let me know, let us both know your comments, whether this has been a bit of an eye-opener for you.
Yeah, and whether you're going to make a switch on any of those things and just give it a bit more thought. As always, we love to hear from you, love to hear your comments. Um, if you're on YouTube, that's a really good place for you to drop a comment. We can both
Mm.
see those comments really easily. So if you're listening to this somewhere else, you can always whiz over to YouTube and find us, Mind, Mood and Food. We would love some more subscribers on YouTube. You can easily subscribe again. It doesn't cost you anything. You just
No.
have to hit subscribe. You can like the videos. That's really helpful as well to get this podcast out to more people. Definitely feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues if you have got into work and been like, oh, I've been listening to this podcast and it's amazing, let people know. Let us know that you're sharing it out, and we can give you a shout out. We can give some personal mentions
Oh,
on our
yes,
podcast.
definitely.
Thank you for listening, and thank you to Margaret for her knowledge and
No
wisdom
worries.
as always. And we will see you on the next one, which will be in May. Flying
Woof.
the year. It's weird to think about that now because we're not there yet. But thank you, Margaret.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.